Yeah, yeah, yeah. A lot of people have been asking me how I'm doing. Doing all right. I don't own the rights to any music that might be playing. Yeah, just thought I would come live. Um, for me, talking works. There's two kinds of people, and it's not anything right or wrong. It's just when it comes to this, there's two types of people. Some of you psychologists can confirm. Some think to speak, and some speak to think. And so, you figure out which one you are, and then it kind of helps out in life, helps you understand why you do things, or even a more efficient way for you to do things. You got it. Come on. Um, I speak to think. If you haven't figured that out, all right, you're welcome. Um, and so coming on here just helps me to kind of gather my thoughts and to remember just how good God is. When you're telling your testimony, Word of God says that they overcame by the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. Your testimony is powerful. So every time God does something for you, you need to tell it. You can write it. You can call somebody and tell it. You can share it in a service. We don't even have testimony services most times anymore. But yeah, you should always tell your testimony. That's why a lot of times people around me, they're like, oh, here you come with that story again. Or I'll say, hey, have I told y'all about the time? And, some people will be like, yeah, 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 you told me about that one. But that's all good because I'm gonna tell it again, and maybe I'll spin it a different way. Not spin the truth, but I mean spin like there's so many aspects to what God does for you. And when you are talking about God, what happens is you begin to see Him big. Whatever you're talking about, you begin to see it big. I wasn't planning on saying any of this stuff right here, so listen up. Yeah. Whatever you talk about begins to magnify, right? You give it life. It's life, power, and of life and death is all in your tongue. And if you recognize it, if you honor that tongue, you'll live by it or die by it. But so when you're telling your testimony, you're giving life to something. When you look at a problem, you go, man, yes, and then you name the problem. It's nothing. I mean, it's nothing inherently wrong with that. Just being alive and being human and saying what you see. But you've just given life to your problem, right? So you got to come behind that. You gotta block the fruit. How you do that? Well, you give life to the solution. And one way my good friend Minister Tatum says is to put a but God on it. Man, this just happened. I don't believe this, but God. And then you begin to talk about His goodness and talk about what He's going to help you do. That's your faith kicking in right there. That's a little bit loud when I'm live, don't you think? Yeah, I think so. All right, thanks. Um, yeah. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah, a lot of people, excuse me, woo, living in a fast lane, man. A lot of people asking how I'm doing. Right? I'm doing fine. I'm doing very good. I'm blessed in God. I'm excited. I'm happy. Um, Even though Mom is gone, man, it is so true. It is so true what they say that we don't grieve like the world grieves. If you're dealing with the loss of a loved one, right, or the impending loss of a loved one, let me tell you something about Jesus. When that individual knows God, and you know that they know God, um, man, it makes a world of difference when they're gone because um, you know that they went to be with Him. You're not grieving, wondering and where they are and how they are and all this. No, no, no. When you know that they had a relationship with God and it was solid, it was good, then I'm really relieved that she's out of pain and suffering. So yeah, death really sucks, but death has no hold on us anymore because Jesus conquered death. So the last thing that the enemy had over us was death, hell, and the grave. And when death was conquered, it was so important that Jesus rose from the dead. That's why, it's so important that we know that He rose from the dead. It's so important that we know that Noah's Ark happened and it happened like the Bible said it did. Because if these things didn't happen, then God's not credible. His word is not credible, and we can't stand on it. But I'm telling you, two of the major events of the scriptures happen. And I can point you to places online where you can find some good, solid biblical evidence of that from scholars much smarter than myself. One is answersingenesis.com. Answersingenesis.com. Run over there and check them folks out. Talking about Noah's Ark. And The Proof of the Resurrection, The Case for Christ, the book by, I think it was Lee Strobel. He wrote that bad boy. And so anyway, tired. Not necessarily because I'm doing so much work and I'm working hard, which I am. But I believe in working hard and I like staying busy. But the issue is just that everything takes so much effort. I'm trusting and believing I'm gonna get my MRIs back, and I'm gonna see my surgeon, and I'm not gonna have to go through a long stint with what do you call it? With physical therapy. Hoping that we'll go straight to something that will be a solution for me, so I can begin to heal and move on with my life. It is very painful to walk and to stand for a long time, and it's painful to sit. It is actually very painful to sit. So even driving, like I'm doing right now, I just got in the car, so I'm good for now. But I got to get out of this position because my leg is in the exact position that it needs to be in for that ligament to sit in a bad spot. So, yeah, after a while, I start squirming when I'm driving, and I have to get out and take breaks and stuff. I'm not lamenting. I'm not complaining. I just want you to know, people asking how I'm doing. Everything just takes so much effort. And so that is where mental toughness comes in. Oh, volume done crept back up again. For real, for real? Dang. That volume is sneaky. Thank you. Yeah, but that's where your mental toughness comes in. Who was I listening to? Oh yeah, I was watching a martial arts master online. He was older, and they were talking about how strong he was. And this guy just happened to be interviewing him, and he was showing them some technique, and they were working it through. And the guy was like, "Okay, well, I throw the punch like this." Right? He's like, "No, you throw it like this." And he's like, "You get more power out of it." And he's like, "Wow, you're really strong." He's like, "Yeah. But most of my power is mental." He says, like 90% mental. And I was like, that makes sense. You exercise them by activating your faith, by walking in faith, by believing God when things don't look right. You activate mental toughness by persevering through trial. Many of y'all have done that and seen trial and persevered through it. Every time you overcome, it's like with temptation, every time you overcome with righteousness and holiness, you get stronger. Each victory aids you with the next one to win. So anyway, I thought I'd just come through and rattle for a minute so people could see. I'm hecka exhausted though, and I'm good in God. And my two henchmen, they in good shape too. And long as they got battery and internet. A lot of times when you see me, they are online and stuff like that. But I want you to know they are not on their devices all the time. I don't believe in that. That's another post for another day. Speaking of another post for another day, where my man Troy at? I gotta hit up Troy. Troy, if you watching this, sound off in the comments, man. Morning Glory with Pastor Troy. Anyway, if you haven't subscribed, check out Morning Glory with Pastor Troy on Facebook and at least on YouTube. He's probably on a few more platforms. Yeah, business is it's good, and I need energy and stamina in order to 24/7. So pretty close to 24 and pretty close to 7. So yeah, they take a lot of my life, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But I need more life to give. You know what I'm saying? So, um, probably getting ready to go through a drop zone. I love y'all. Oh, let's pray. God, we grateful and we thank you for wherever we are when this is viewed, and I thank you for life and health and strength. Um, some folks are going through issues. Help them, Lord. Some folks are celebrating. There's a lot of graduation going on now. Thank you for all the victories that we see happening. Many folks are dying. Help those of us who are bereaved. And there's a bunch of babies being born. Thank you for life and new life. Lord, I thank you for the greatest gift, which is the miracle of passing from death to life. And Father, I pray that somebody who's watching this or hearing this comes to know you at some point for your glory, not for mine. But I pray that more and more people come to know you, and Jesus is the door. He's the door. He's the way. He's the truth, and He is the life. Nobody comes to you but by Him. And so, show us more and more of your glory today. Show us more and more of who you are, what we can handle. Show us what we can handle of ourselves um, and I was looking at a sign and Lord, how to become better at serving you and pleasing you today. We lift our needs, our wants, our desires before you. Lord, many ways we live, we upset you. We sin against you. And some ways we know, and some ways we don't even know. Help us, Father, to um, have a great conviction of sin. Help us to be sensitive to sin. It's going to make us stand out from this world, but help us to be sensitive, Lord, to you so that we can live lives that please you. Yeah, yeah. Thanks. Bless us. Give us the things we need. I pray for peace over everybody watching this. Thank you. Peace you give is inexplainable. Thank you. I pray healing for everyone watching this. Healing physically and healing in those deep areas of the soul. Ultimate healing spiritually. Thank you. You're awesome. You're great. You're magnificent. Anywhere, anytime. Thank you for your goodness. Thank you. Thank you. And bless you. Woo!